Hey leaders, thank you for leading. Sunday, March 26th. We're in our Hebrews series talking about chapter 5, verses 11 through 6:20. We're slightly off step with Pastor Mark because he included this in last week's, and I broke it into two because he's going to talk again about another section of the high priesthood, which I combined with last week. So, mildly off step with upstairs, but for a purpose, because this is a little bit easier for them to grasp than multiple different concepts thrown in at one time. Anyway, 5:11 through 6:20, this is the whole Christians as babies not to meet yet. So what are they understanding? And he's rebuking them, and he's like, or not Paul, but the author of Hebrews is like, you're because he's writing to Christians, he's like, you're still on milk and you should be on meat by now, and these things, this is how you should grow, and this is what should change. And then we're going to emphasize a couple of those verses that talk about how do we know that you're on to meat? What does your life look like? And it's talking about helping others and things like that. So that's where we'll focus. And that to some degree, we're talking about assurance of, you don't have to be concerned that to become a Christian, to accept Christ, you have to know everything. Some kids, especially your more academic or intellectual kiddos, are concerned they don't know enough, therefore they can't be a Christian yet. And then they run into this as teenagers, because as a teenager they're like, but I know so much more. Maybe I didn't really accept Jesus as my Savior when I was little. So kind of covering those concepts in the middle of all of this. Sorry, I'm keeping the car warm, if you can hear the motor. And then the physical and creative application activities. The creative one may take a little bit explaining, because we're talking about morphing, and you can teach them that morphing is that whole, some of them may get shapeshifter concept, but that if they're thinking about watching a show or something, that process of an item starting as one thing and slowly changing into something else without ever really breaking and transitioning. So for some of your kids, this is going to be a concept that makes perfect sense, and for others are going, and it's merely an artistic device, right? But what they're going to do is they're going to try their best to use Play-Doh to make a baby bottle. And then after they've made a baby bottle they're really proud of, they're going to then, without breaking it and taking it apart, mold, roll, shift it into some form of piece of meat. A drumstick, the shape of a steak, whatever. Okay? Just that whole concept of milk to meat. That growing, shifting, changing. You don't break. Nothing huge, hopefully, happens in your life, but you are slowly changing over time, is what they're working on. So, and it may take them, they may get 6 opportunities if they're really fast to try this, to do it better and better and better. Physical activity is Pictionary, because they're going to draw similar things. So you have a list of things in the lesson plan that will already be cut up. You don't have to come up with ideas. They're already there. They'll pull from the bag and do that. So it should be another cool week. We're back to a little bit more concrete concept for them, so it should be pretty grabbable. Thank you for leading today.